Hey there, I'm David, and here for a Seaside Chat in front of a different part of the sea I'm used to talking in front of. Probably noticed that's the Golden Gate Bridge, so I'm in the Bay Area, and here to talk about Dave's Picks Volume 7, which you're probably aware by now is April 24th, 1978, Horton Field House, University of Illinois in Normal, Illinois. Long been one of my favorite shows from a really, really good tour. It's a tour that started on April 6th, 1978, ran through May 17th, 1978, with a kind of 10-day break between April 24th, this is the last show of the first leg, and then the first show started up May 5th of 78. Some great shows throughout, some kind of hit and miss shows too, but they were really having fun, particularly on the May tour, like when the fun really broke loose. Listen to Dick's Picks 25 for that. But the April part of the tour has a lot of elements of carryover from 1977. The tightness of the band playing so well together, trying new things, really rarely kind of falling off the musical cliff when they're doing cool things. So we have some really, really great music. Sorry about the foghorns back there. As you can see, it's a really foggy day, which it often is here. Today's one of the foggier days I've seen here in a while. So anyhow, foghorn. So what we have is this incredible show, start to finish. It's one of these shows I always kind of joke, when they open with the Chuck Berry tune and close with a Chuck Berry tune, means they're generally having a lot of fun and rocking out pretty hard. So we got this show, last show of the first leg of the tour. As you're probably aware, a lot of the earlier stuff on this tour, specifically April 6th to April 16th, we don't have in the vault, but April 18th through the end of the tour, May 17th, we do have in the archive. So we have kind of some pretty good stuff to select from. This, to me, is the strongest of the bunch. Love this show. So I'll start out by saying the history of our release with this, or our history of this show in terms of releases. You might remember about 8 years ago, Grateful Dead Productions did a thing called the Download Series. First Tuesday of every month we put out a complete Grateful Dead show as a download through either iTunes or Hi-Res or MP3. So we did one a month. I think we got up to number 12. This was scheduled to be number 13, and it just didn't happen. We stopped the Download Series. So this show has long been in the pipeline for release, and when we were scheduled for 13, I was a little bummed because I thought this would have made a great Dick's Picks. Now I think it would make a great Dave's Picks. So there you go. So we're finally getting it out. So the first set, we're going to open things up with, there's a crowd of people walking by behind the camera, so if you hear some noises. So the first set, like I say, opens up with, and I'll kind of get to the highlights as we get going through them. The first set opens with Promised Land, and rockin' version of Promised Land. The mix almost immediately kicks into perfection. Betty, of course, recorded it as she did for so many shows, 1977, 78. So we've got this incredible Promised Land, and then it goes into Ramble on Rose, when I think Ramble on Rose in 1978 was at its peak. I think that they turned it into this incredible powerhouse. Think of something like the Closing of Winterland, where that huge powerhouse version of Ramble on Rose. This is a very similar version. Dawn is just bang on in it. It's really great stuff. And so we got this incredible Ramble on Rose. Jerry, listen to when he comes back after the guitar solo with Goodbye Mama and Papa. Listen to how hard he's playing, how hard he's singing. So we've got this incredible Ramble on Rose. Then you kind of get the first real surprise of the night. You get the band tuning up with Stayin' Alive. Clearly they were inspired by seeing the movie and hearing the soundtrack, I guess, which I guess the movie had come out later, 1977, so it's kind of fresh in their mind. So they do a tuning up of Stayin' Alive. We had labeled it originally on the tape as Stayin' Alive Jam, followed by Me and My Uncle that has many elements of Stayin' Alive in it, and you'll hear these kind of little riffs of Stayin' Alive, followed by Big River that also has these little things, particularly Keith and Bobby, and then Jerry starts dropping in these really kind of fun Stayin' Alive moments. So you kind of get the band really having a really fun time on this. So you got Me and My Uncle, Big River with the Stayin' Alive bits. Then you got a really terrific Friend of the Devil. And I asked you with headphones, listen to the intro to Friend of the Devil. It's just beautiful the way everybody kind of falls into place on Friend of the Devil. Great version. Keith does a great solo. Bobby's doing some great stuff. And Jerry, of course. Don't forget him. in our liner notes, which Blair did, you'll read about the drummers at this show. The drummers from the beginning of Promised Land right through the end of the show, the drummers are really on. It's some of the best Grateful Dead drumming I've heard from 1977, 78. And that's saying a lot. I think the drummers were bang on 77, 78. But you'll hear it, they're really, really hot during the show. So after Friend of the Devil, Cassidy, great version of Cassidy, and there is a great Brown-Eyed Women, and then one of my favorite Bob Weir sung, Phil Lesh written tunes, probably the only one like that, maybe New Potato, Passenger. Monster version of Passenger. Maybe we'll put that up as some kind of listening thing because it's a phenomenal version of Passenger. Passenger followed up by a gorgeous version of Must Have Been the Roses, and then, in my opinion, one of the best versions of The Music Never Stopped I've ever heard. A friend of mine and I, we have an ongoing discussion about The Music Never Stopped. We're always kind of talking about best versions, and whenever we hear a good one, we send each other either an MP3 or just a note, check it out. This is one of those versions of The Music Never Stopped that's as good as 2578, Dick's Picks Volume 18. Monster version of The Music Never Stopped, a really, really great set closer. So you got this first set that, to my ears, is one of the best first sets in 1978. Follow that up, open in the second set with, again, widely considered, sorry about these fog, the fog is clearing a little bit, you see that a little bit? But it's still way out there in the water, so you can hear a lot of foghorns. Scarlet Fire. When I hear Scarlet Fire, you know, you're listening for the three big elements. You're listening for a great version of Scarlet Begonias, where everything clicks. You're looking for a great transition, an above and beyond kind of transition, and then you're looking for a great version of Fire on the Mountain. This is one of those versions. This is a version of Scarlet Fire that is up there, to me, as a top 5 version ever. You know, believe me, I love the Cornell version. I love the Fox Theater in 1980. I love the Giant Stadium 78. This one is up there with the best versions of Scarlet Fire ever performed. The Scarlet Begonias, they nail it perfectly. The transition is ethereal. I don't even know if that word would apply here, but it feels like it would. So check out the transition. It's one of these ones, again, I ask you to put your headphones on, crank it up. Beautiful, spectacular version of the transition into Fire on the Mountain. They drop into Fire on the Mountain, and again, as I mentioned with Ramble on Rose, you've got, with Jerry enunciating so strongly and just really powerfully singing. He does the same thing on Fire on the Mountain, and he sings this great, well, you'll hear it. The title of Blair Jackson's essay in this, in the booklet for this pick is what Jerry sings in it. It's just spectacular. Great version of Fire on the Mountain, exhausting, and they kick right into Good Lovin', coming right out of Scarlet Fire. They follow this up with the big jam sequence of the night, which is to say, from this point on, no breaks until the end of the show. Terrapin Station, great version of Terrapin Station. Rhythm Devils. Now, up until February of 1978, drums at a show was generally a 3 to 5 minute, 6 minute interlude that would go into something. Spring 78, that's when they went from that 5 or 6 minute versions of drums to the 14, 18, 20 minute versions of drums that we have since labeled as Rhythm Devils, because that's what they were really doing. They were all playing together. The entire band was coming out on stage playing, I don't want to say pots and pans because I don't know what they were playing, but they were playing all sorts of crazy stuff. They were singing, chanting, crazy. This is one of those Rhythm Devils. Really, really great version of Rhythm Devils. Crazy stuff is happening. Again, don't skip over. Excellent stuff. Goes into space. That's really more just kind of Jerry doing some wild stuff on the guitar. Follow that up. I don't know if that helicopter is going to prevent you from hearing me, but somebody once pointed out, they said, hey, Lemieux has the attention span of a gnat. Well, that might be true, but I have a lot of things distracting me. So, yeah, I think it's more the surroundings that is causing that. But nonetheless, Terrapin Station drums into Rhythm Devils into space. Space comes out with a monster. I've used that adjective a lot. An excellent version of Not Fade Away. One of those kind of 10, 12 minute versions that just pumps along. Really, really good stuff. The Not Fade Away goes into a beautiful Black Peter. Jerry's singing great. Great guitar solo, great outro solo coming out of Black Peter that goes into one of my favorite versions of Around and Around. Just rock start to finish when they bring it right down, then build it back up. Excellent, excellent stuff, the Around and Around. Then, as the encore, another huge surprise, Werewolves of London. Werewolves of London is a very cool song in the Grateful Dead history because it had debuted on the radio just weeks before. It was a hit for Warren Zevon, So here are the Dead playing a current hit song on the radio by Warren Zevon, and they're playing it live in concert, blowing a lot of people's minds. I knew a guy in Ottawa, a guy named Steve, one of the guys who started me on my tape collecting days, probably 84, 85, used to hook me up with some good tapes. He told me he drove from Ottawa down to Syracuse, only about a 3-hour drive, and he saw the Syracuse show about 2 weeks after this on the May leg at the Onondaga Center in Syracuse, New York. And on the way down, they were listening to Werewolves of London by, of course, Warren Zevon. They didn't know the Dead had been playing it. There wasn't really an internet or a Dupree's Diamond News or anything like that. So driving down, listening to a whole bunch of versions, or a whole bunch of times listening to Werewolves of London. They go see the Dead in Syracuse, great show, and then they encore with Werewolves of London. He was blown away. So they debuted Werewolves of London just 5 days before this on April 19th, and then they played it again a couple days after that. And the first two aren't really that great. The first one in particular is really not that good, but they didn't really quite have it down on how the song worked. The second one's a little better. The third one, this one from April 24th, 78 in Normal, Illinois, is, they nail it. It's perfect. Everything about it, I just love it. They're having fun, they're singing well, Jerry's playing well, Bobby of course is playing the slide. So to me it's the best of the bunch of the probably 7 or 8 versions of Werewolves of London they played. So yeah, really good stuff. I saw them play it once, Halloween 1990 in London at Wembley Arena, and you know, it was a novelty. I think it was fun, and we kind of all knew they were going to play it. It was the Dead in London on Halloween. You kind of knew it was coming. But this one to me it actually works as a really good song piece of the show. So there's our show. It's really good. Again, it's a show that should have come out 7 years ago. We're sorry it didn't. I don't know why it's taken this long, but we just felt it was time to hit 1978, and this show, without a doubt, was top of our list. And again, it sounds great, recorded by Betty Cantor Jackson. Package is great, Tim Truman cover art. Bob Minkin photos, always good to include some photos by our good friend Bob Minkin. Check out his stuff online. Bobby's a good guy and a great photographer. Liner notes by Blair, and Steve Vance, of course, did our package design. Great stuff, limited edition. They do tend to sell out very quickly. This one should go pretty fast, so don't stay on the sidelines. Highly recommended. A Scarlet Fire, I'm telling you, and The Music Never Stopped. Really up there as some of the best versions ever. And I say that without any hyperbole. Genuinely. The Scarlet Fire in particular is something, if you ever want to turn somebody on to Scarlet Fire and play it loud, this is the one. And Cornell's no slouch. But anyhow, I'm David, and this has been Talk About Dave's Picks Volume 7, available at, well, probably where you're watching this at dead.net or something. Golden Gate Bridge, a lot of fog, a lot of foghorns, hope you don't mind.